Hey y'all, my name is Willie Lawson and welcome to the Saxophone Factory. Um, I have I am blessed enough to have some students that are headed off to college here in the next couple of months, and I am now in the mode of relating my college experience as a music student to them. But it isn't all what you think. Some things are very basic and we can start using at any level, at every level, as a matter of fact. And we'd all be so much further ahead if we did. Now, one of those things is, if I can relate a story to you real quick. My lesson was at 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon. I'll never forget it as long as I live. Um, and I was struggling through some failing exercise, no doubt, more than likely. And my teacher asked me, "How do you practice?" Now, and it took me a minute to figure out what he meant, but he wanted to know what I did from, when how I did it, what my method was, what my process was. And I looked at him like he was speaking Portuguese because I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he had to break it down. What do you do? What do you do? What do you work on first? What do you work on second? What do you do? And he was asking what my process was. And it was obvious to him that I didn't have a process. He was just trying to make me understand that I didn't have a process. I don't have a process. It's sort of catch a sketch can chaos. And the catch a sketch can chaos doesn't produce results like it needs to. So the time is wasted. Whether it's a half hour or whether it's an hour or 6 hours, if it's just sort of this catch as catch can, crisis management sort of practice, that won't do. It just won't do. So he suggested the plan that I'm going to suggest to you that I've been using, that I started after that using personally, and actually getting some benefit from it. And I used today, that I still use the very same process after a lot of years. And because I'm not in band, I don't have a band class or an ensemble, but you can substitute, and I'll show you what that is. It is what I'll call the 5-10-10-5, or the 10-20-20-10 plan on practicing. How to divide your practicing up in ways that you can work on a lot of things every single practice session and gain benefit from all of it and not neglect anything, because so often we neglect stuff. We get hyper focused on a thing and then the rest of it just sort of goes by the wayside. So this plan, if you carry it out like it's intended, that won't happen. So let's go to the board. Hopefully you can see this. We are going to go for a 60-minute practice session. And this section right here is something that you simply must do. You cannot ignore it. You cannot pass by it. You have to do it. It's the warm-up. It's the time after you get your reed nice and wet and ready to go, and you've got it on your mouthpiece properly. And this is the stuff you do. The long tones, and I suggest that you do the long tones chromatically from low B flat to high F. And I mean long tones. I mean slow at a good forceful volume from low B flat to high F or high F sharp with your tuner, getting your air factory. And your air factory for me is your diaphragmatic breathing going on and getting relaxed and getting your upper body relaxed and getting all that stuff happening. And in this plan, we're going to do that for the first 10 minutes. Do not ignore this. Do not rush through this first step, because it makes the rest of it really hard to do. So you're not warmed up through halfway through the second section, and that doesn't do you very good because you've wasted that time. Okay? And in the beginning, you might have to put on a timer. You might have to get your, your smart speaker or your iPhone or whatever to put that, put a timer in for 10 minutes or put a timer in for 20 minutes or whatever until you sort of get the natural flow of it. The second section, especially if you are still in school or in an ensemble or even professionally, the, the second 20 minutes is your ensemble work. Now you can switch these two. Your ensemble work. If you're in college or if you're in high school, your ensemble is the group that you play in primarily. So if you're in high school, it may be your band stuff or your jazz band stuff, right? Stuff that you need for the next rehearsal, right? 20 minutes. 20 minutes time from front to back. The second part of the next 20-minute period is I call applied. So if you've been to music school, you know that your private lesson is your applied lesson. That's what we call it. We don't call it your lesson. We call it your applied. And everybody who's a music student has an applied. That's your lesson. Work on that for the next 20 minutes. Okay? And then the last 10 minutes we're going to call your warm down. Now, warm down is different on every instrument. Warm down on saxophone is going to be some more long tones, some scales possibly, because now, your instrument is warmed up, you can play it. It may be vibrato exercises, tonguing exercises, all that stuff. Ending with more long tones, making sure that all this is relaxed and you don't put yourself up, all pursed. And do that for 10 minutes. Don't ignore that either. Don't cut this part short. Don't cut any part of it short. For instance, if you get to practice 5 days a week, and you should at least that, you will have practiced your scales for 50 minutes, almost an hour. Your ensemble for 100 minutes, almost 2 hours of work on your ensemble stuff, almost 2 hours of working on your applied stuff a week. And then what you build by this is muscle memory. And as you build the muscle memory for all that stuff, the better you're going to be, the less you'll have to think about it while you're doing it. Because you will have built all your muscle memory here and here. Try to implement this plan or a plan like it. Let me know if you like it. Write in the comments. Again, my name is Will Austin. This is the Saxophone Factory. Until we see you again, go practice.